Hello everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of the Wakelet podcast. This is, of course, the Community Corner with myself, James, and the lovely Amy.
Hi everyone.
And as you all know, we are part of the community team here at Wakelet, and we, to be honest, just love talking about all things community. So this kind of podcast, this episode, we want to talk about how to build a community, because obviously at Wakelet we've built a budding, excited community over the past 2 or 3 years, and also we've seen a lot of kind of micro communities pop up in different regions, and in this case countries. So we've got our good friend Michael Morella, all the way from the Philippines, who will be joining us to talk about how he has helped build the Wakelet Philippines to what it is today. Talk about how important it is to actually build a community and what it does for a region, and in this case a country. So Michael, can you just give us a quick introduction and let the people know who you are if they don't know you already?
Hello, James and Amy. Thank you for inviting me in this podcast. I'm very excited to do this, and it's a humbling experience to serve with you our journey in Wakelet Philippines. By the way, mabuhay everyone. I'm Michael Morella, a social studies public secondary school teacher in the green city of Pasig City. I'm a Wakelet Ambassador and a convener of Wakelet Philippines. Hello, everyone.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Michael, for joining us. Michael's been a Wakelet Ambassador for a long time now. I don't know if you know how long, Michael.
Yeah, I started as a Wakelet Ambassador last June of 2020. It's almost a year.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. And in that time, you've grown as a person. The community around you has grown as well, and so have we, just by knowing yourself. But yeah, if you could just start by letting us know what is the Wakelet Philippines Community. For those that don't know, how important is it to you? What is it? Who is in it? Give us a bit of background into the Wakelet Philippines Community, please.
Okay, so Wakelet Philippines, as we say, is a learning community for educators, students, and Wakelet users in the Philippines. It's a network of EdTech enthusiasts in the country, basically using Wakelet in teaching and learning.
I love that. And yeah, and when you say EdTech enthusiastic, it is wonderful because you are also passionate and enthusiastic about it. I see all of the sessions that you do on Wakelet and other tools as well, and it's fantastic. Outside of your own day-to-day roles, you're going out there and teaching other educators as well, which is fantastic to see.
Yeah, and like I said, enthusiasts, you're all, I'd say, very similar, obviously different subjects, different professions even, teaching different grade levels, but you're also very similar in the fact that you are enthusiasts about tech and education, and that is how this community came about, right?
Yeah.
Why did this community start? Obviously, we've run the Wakelet community, like I say, for about 3 years now. It's grown from strength to strength each year, and we know why we started the community, but we would love to know from your kind of side, why did you and others help grow this Wakelet Philippines community?
Okay, so basically the community started as an educators group coming from both public and private schools. The group was formed by the initiatives of having a continuous professional learning network for those trainees of Wakelet webinars in the country. And it is nice to know that members of the communities are active and passionate to learn and engage in our different programs. For me, it's a humbling and overwhelming experience to lead and convene the community. You know, it's really inspiring to see progress of each Wakelet members, how they become and strive to become a community leaders, and later on to become an ambassadors. You know, it's also a humbling experience to see those members who are proudly sharing their collections, photos attending webinars and programs, badges, and even certificate. These are the testaments that they feel that our community is safe and motivating environment. And it's been a year since we start establishing the Wakelet community in the Philippines. With the help and guidance of James and MISPA ambassadors in the Philippines, commit themselves to build a community that would support teachers who passionately using the tools in teaching and learning. I started using Wakelet in January of 2020 before the lockdown and closure of our school. We use Wakelet to curate the research of my grade 10 students about Project Citizen. And during the heights of pandemic, all schools in the Philippines are closed, but the Department of Education continuously gives a lot of trainings to teachers for us to prepare and adapt to the new normal of education. This paradigm shift gave us a motivations to give free trainings on Office 365 and other partner applications such as Wakelet, Flipgrid, Kahoot, Adobe in different schools, division, regions across the country. And Microsoft Philippines partnered with DepEd EdTech Unit to formally introduce Wakelet in the national level webinar. This is in celebrations of the World Teachers Month in September of 2020. And in these inceptions, we received positive feedbacks and comments about the Wakelet. And from then on, our team, the May Avengers and friends, included Wakelet in our trainings and events. And then I became an ambassador in June 2020 as part of the 19th wave. And then we met you, James, last October 17th. It's a history. It's a long history. I met you virtually last October 17th. And after 3 days, we formally launched the community through Frybit group. So during that time, we only have, I think, 5 ambassadors. And then monthly we added more ambassadors. So it's really amazing and inspiring to see how the Wakelet Filipinas grow little by little.
Yeah, it's been wonderful from our side to see that as well, because like you said, it has been quite a journey from when you started. You've just celebrated your first anniversary, so happy anniversary. But it's been wonderful to see, and you do take it upon yourself to sort of mentor and grow that community. And we see other community members from the Philippines joining and becoming leaders and ambassadors, and week by week, day by day, it's getting bigger and it's growing so much as well, which is so wonderful to see.
I think that's one for those listening at home or at school. If you're thinking about starting any sort of club or community, it does just start with a group of like-minded people. In this case, 5 ambassadors from the Philippines. In our case, it was around 40 people from around the world, mainly in the United States and the UK, who had a shared interest. And that's what you've got here. And it then kind of snowballs once you all kind of have an idea. You then put on these webinars. And what I liked what you said was it's all around professional learning as well. So there's kind of a goal there that people are joining for. But then also it's much more than that as well. And now what I do want to say is that the Philippines community is actually the 3rd biggest in our community, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So it's come a long way. So I don't know where it was back a year ago when the Wakelet Philippines started with those 5 ambassadors, but I'm guessing it wasn't in the top 3. Now it's right up there. So that's a credit to yourself, Michael, and all of the amazing ambassadors from the Philippines who have been there to support each other, like you say, in a tough time as well.
Yeah, I think the ambassadors is doing hard to propagate more members and Wakelet users in the Philippines. It's free, it's safe, and motivating a teaching tool for us, since most of us in the Philippines is in remote learning, and we see Wakelet, the capacity of Wakelet to make an immersive learning experience for both teachers and students.
I like how you said as well, it's a safe place to motivate your members of your community, and like you say, watch that progress for them as well, not just as a community growing in numbers, that's a great thing, but also the engagement levels of each individual, how they're growing to become leaders in their own communities, learning not just Wakelet and how to implement it better in their classroom and get more out of it, but like you say, also learning those other tools as well, allowing them to app smash and think differently and meet new people from all over the Philippines and the world. So it's an absolute credit to you and the ambassadors what you've done.
Yeah, and it's great to see others getting behind the camera. It's something that I always love, behind sort of the webinars and things like that, and part of the community is just everyday people being able to present and share something that they're passionate about, and maybe do something that they haven't been able to do, or have that sort of platform, that stage to be able to do it as well. And that's something that you give within that community. You build them up to be able to gain confidence in the tools and things that they're teaching, and then they're presenting to people globally all around the world, which is an opportunity they never maybe would have had if they hadn't have joined the community that they're now a part of. So it also sort of opens up and helps them, grow personally as well.
Yeah, that's great, because progress is different to everyone, I suppose, as well. With it could be a person who may be quite shy, who wants to just make new friends, a person who wants to learn new tools, tech tools in this case, a person who wants to eventually speak on stage or have the opportunities to do so. And what these communities do, as we've seen with the Wakelet community, the Wakelet Philippines and the others around the world, it does give those opportunities to in this case, educators to go out and show their stuff, showcase themselves and what they're doing with these tech tools and beyond as well.
So, Michael, in your experience of being a part of a community, what do you find sort of the importance of community? What do you get from that, and why do you find it so important to be a part of a community?
Okay, you know what, Amy? Empowering teachers to confidently and positively embrace change is usually a community's top concerns. When teachers are given the attentions, developments, and supports to become leaders, outcomes improve across the board. Students do better, schools improve their understanding, and teachers can enjoy progression and STEAM in a difficult job that deserve more respect. With many teachers trained for a completely different classroom, it's a huge challenge to get widespread commitment to the digital paradigm shift. And without the right tools like Wakelet, training, tech supports, financial supports, or compensations and morale of the teachers can easily fall back to on old strategies out of pure stress. And with this community, teachers feel secure, motivated, and having space that would listen to them, support them, and guiding them the way they want it. I think that's the essence of having this community. The importance of this community is also that it celebrates and cheers the success of everyone's and cry out of the downs and falls of each member. And more than ever, this kind of community is all we need. I think that's the importance of having this kind of community, a learning platform for teachers and students and other users of any of edtech tools.
Yeah, it's a support group, like you say, for the lows and also the highs as well, being able to celebrate and pick people up when maybe they're having a not the best day. But it's like you say, they're all like-minded as well in that community, that you're there for each other. And with the tough time of the pandemic, that has been needed more than ever, and hopefully will continue into when the world opens up as well.
Yeah. And I love what you said about looking after sort of teachers and educators so that they can do their best for students as well. Sometimes if we don't look after our educators, how are we expecting them to go in day by day and teach well if they're not also getting that support? So I love that, like you said, the essence of the community is supporting educators so they can better support their students as well, which is really lovely. It's a really nice way to look at it. And like you said, build that support system around, and maybe in a place where they're not getting it at their place of work or wherever they are. It's a nice place to have that sort of support system around them as well.
That's one of the things we found with setting up the Wakelet community. Of course, it started out for us as more of a feedback group, really, but then it evolved into this support system, this community, where we were there to support people. And what we found was that some educators in their roles, they're not fully appreciated how they should be, and they need kind of someone to talk to, or someone who's experiencing the same stuff they are, whether that's in the same city, state, country, or across the world. And that's what this community, the Wakelet Philippines, the Wakelet community, and all the micro communities around the world do help with, having someone similar or people that are similar to fall back on and talk about the day's stresses, or the next tech tool to use, or have a bit of fun and meet new friends as well.
And they're very fortunate to have people like yourself, Michael, that take the time, like I said, out of their already busy day to go above and beyond and put on these webinars. I mean, I don't know how you find the time because you do so much. But like you said, I suppose if it's something that you're passionate about, which you clearly are, it's great to see that you're enjoying that as well, and you're gaining the benefits of that as well as the community around you as well. It's so lovely to see.
What motivates you then as a person who is almost kind of you're assisting with the growth of the community and kind of bringing people together? You're not just a part of it, you're there leading and supporting. So what motivates you to do this as part of a community?
I've been teaching for 13 years, and I'm immersed in different programs, projects, and activities, both international and local, both initiated by either by DepEd and other institutions. Likewise, my role in school is now changing, aside from being a classroom teacher to mentoring teachers, and now I'm leading the faculty club as a president. And with this, to sum it up, it's now time to give back to the community. We always say blossom where you planted, and with all these experiences, I think this is the right time. At the comfort of our home, we're able to connect and build a learning community for our educators. And Wakelet Pilipinas is a great opportunity to reach out with our fellow educators all over the Philippines. And what inspired me or motivates me to convene Wakelet community in the Philippines despite of all the loaded works I have in school. First is, we truly amazed to the capacity and potentials of Wakelet. It's free, safe and secure, and easy to use, and empowering both for teachers and student, both personal branding or in a professional life. Second, it has a very supportive leaders like you. The Wakelet community is very supportive. We have engaging activities. You have your regular sessions that would spice up, and challenges that supports educators all over the world. And with these activities, I think another exciting about Wakelet is that our social media presence. Filipinos love social media, so with that, that's a big check for us. Mm-hmm. And third, I think it's the arising need to provide a space where trainees and educators can collaborate, share best ideas, and have technical support to adapt and survive in this changing, challenging new normal. And lastly, I think for me, this gives me inspiration to convene and continue the community is the passions and dedications of the leaders and ambassadors. Mm-hmm. Their commitment to help and support educators without anything in return is really a priceless. Giving their precious time, talents, and even resources is really amazing. Mm-hmm. And now we continuously grow little by little. We owe it to every Filipino educators who believes us and is staying with us until now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so lovely to hear you speak about how you're motivated by the passions of sort of the leaders and members and ambassadors around you, similar to us. You know, when we jump on webinars or speak to ambassadors like yourselves, it motivates us to make, the best platform we can for you, and create activities that you can get involved in and things like that, which is similar to what you're doing within that community. And seeing others sort of learn and grow throughout that process is so lovely, and something I personally love the most about the community, seeing someone enjoy using Wakelet so much so that they join the community, learn more, get involved, and then become ambassadors who are super passionate about it and who provide that really valuable feedback as well, and just want to see each other succeed, really. Mm-hmm. It is very much a community, one big family, and I'm glad you sort of feel the same way with your community and what you've helped to create there as well.
Yeah, and it is almost like an energy source that you're explaining there, where you're giving your energy out and then they're giving the energy back to you. So it's a constant loop of hopefully everyone enjoying themselves and what they do, and that only spurs it on even more. Them to return back to these webinars and activities, for you to continue to put them on and provide them, and then they will then continue to share it out with their colleagues and friends to join the community. So there's loads of mini cycles going on to make sure everyone's having the best time. But kind of one thing I want to address is with communities, for those that may be out there thinking, I've tried to set up a community. Some people do find it quite difficult, thinking, people won't attend my community, or if I put a club on in my school, or if I start a webinar series, it's not always going to start with hundreds of people flocking to it. We saw this as well. So I don't know if you have any advice on that, Michael. But for our side, I suppose it's just keep on going, and you will find people out there that want to attend and want to learn and want to listen. It's not always straight away that you will have a lot of people joining, but if you start out with a mission just like you have there to kind of provide that group of support, that professional learning, then people will start to get attracted, and once you get a few in, then that snowballs and brings other people in. That energy will gravitate people towards it for sure.
Yeah, you know what, James and Amy, we always say is that be inspired and be an inspiration to others. And creating this kind of community is not really an easy task. Before, when we started our journey as a community, it's just a playtime. We like the swags, we like the opportunities to share with others. But day by day, as we go by, we see it's really hard. It's really hard to create a community like this one. But because of the passions and dedication of those people helping out to become a stronger or building a learning community, I think that's the best thing that we need to do if you want to create or establish a community like this one. And it takes a lot of time and effort. Most of us are teachers, and we have a full-time job, and we always have a meeting during Saturdays or Sundays or even evenings when all of our jobs are done. So it really takes time and effort for those, and we really need a lot of people and their expertise. What's good thing about Wakelet Pilipinas, especially the ambassadors group, is that this group of people is coming from different communities. They are ambassadors in Microsoft, ambassadors in Google, and other edtech tools, And with this, when we convene, there's a lot of brains to come out and brainstorm with the different programs that's best and suitable to the community. And of course, we face also different challenges. And I can give, I think, tips to those who want to start their journey, creating their own community in their own respective localities or countries. Number one, I think they should know the core. Assess themselves, why are they doing this? What are their objectives? It must be clear to the team, the core, and the foundations of the community. It must be clear to everyone the goals and aspirations of the community. Second is, as they organize the team, they have to look for teammates who are passionately as they are. A leader who shares time, the same ideas and wavelength with you. Look for an expert that's easy to work with and crazy as you are. And choose the right person and be the right person. And you are lucky if you can find a service leader. And third, I think, is create a sustainable program. Think of a program that is simple, relevant, and meaningful, not only to you, but to the whole community. Recognize wins and be empathic in everyone's losses. And the community is all about members. Programs should not be self-serving, but for the benefits of all. And last is look for relevant partners. Our community cannot stand on its own, and we need partners, communities, and institutions that would help us grow and build our network. What good thing about Wakelet is that it has a capacity to integrate with other applications and programs. So it would be easy for us to look for relevant partners. And though it's inspiring to hear those tips and best practice that we had in the Philippines, it is useful also to be aware of the common stumbling blocks and challenges. Keeping an eye out from the red flags can help your team identify problems earlier and work quickly and correct your trajectory. Be visible to the community and platforms, and always updates the members. I think that's the best ideas or tips I can give to those leaders that would like to establish their own community and their own localities or countries.
Yeah, that's some amazing tips.
Printed up that.
Yeah, we need that printed out and send that round to everyone.
Yeah.
I love the like say, what was that? Choose someone like yourself, but be that someone as well, because. Like I say, some people, I don't know, at the start of the community, it might be self-serving or might be thinking it the wrong way. I like what you said about setting a goal for the community, what you want it to be, what the program involves. And like I say, select the people you think will be great to start out with you. And just like you mentioned, people have different expertise, different knowledge. So it might be someone who has different expertise to you. If you come together, you become a great team, and that's the foundation of your community, and people can start joining from there. So there were some great tips, Michael. Thank you.
Yeah, and like you said, with having that core idea, having that goal that everyone has in mind, I don't think any sort of team, any community can function without having, one goal that they're all working towards. So I really like that, that's something that you've built your community around, and having those goals set. And so everyone's striving and working towards the same thing, and having those key players in there as well. So it's really lovely. And the fact that you said that, you have to do it for the members as well. You're doing it for new people coming in and joining your community, not just for the existing. It's always sort of for those being a part of the community, not just, looking at yourself. So yeah, really, really great tips there. I'm sure everyone's going to be loving those and knowing exactly how to get started. But yeah, I mean, like you said, it's a lot of hard work, and I appreciate, you put so much time into that. But because you found, that passion and the people that share that passion with you, I hope that you enjoy it as much as the hard work it is as well.
Yeah, I love what you said as well, about kind of the journey you're on and identifying those red flags you said, because with a community, there's no blueprint. Like there were some amazing tips, Michael, and thank you for that. But they're just tips for what Michael's kind of learned. He's passing that on. We also have our own tips that we pass on to people. But there's no straight road, is there, for what a community is? The community defines itself, and it's almost like trial and error. So if you are starting up a club, any sort of community, locally, regionally, for your country or worldwide, it is trial and error. It might not work straight away. There might be things you have to pivot on, and focus on different things, but you learn from the people that join, and they will give you feedback. And just like we found, we've a lot of our ideas don't come from myself and Amy. We'd love to say they did, but they all come from the community, and we learn from them and make sure that we give the best community for them and the people around them. So I think that's a great one. Trial and error, basically. Yeah.
And with that, you have fun with it as well.
Of course, yeah.
Hearing from the different ideas and growing a community is very rewarding, as we get to experience every day. I'm sure you do too as well, Michael. So it is a great thing to be a part of, and like I said, it's hard work, but you also get a lot from it, and it's very rewarding to be surrounded by that support system as well.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Michael, for joining us today to talk about how to build a community, and those tips are amazing. I think we should definitely clip them up and share them out, and even get them printed out, because they were some very, very good tips. But no, thank you so much, Michael, for joining us today to talk about community. It is one thing that we, like I said, love to talk about, and we will be joined by other people in the future to talk about their communities. The Wakelet Philippines is a growing, budding community, as you've heard, but there are also some others that we'd love to showcase on episodes in the future. So if you want to kind of check them out, and even previous episodes, make sure you follow Wakelet at Wakelet on most platforms: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and so on. And also check out on Wakelet, wakelet.com/@the Wakelet podcast to check out all the episodes, and they're also on our YouTube as well. You'll see a nice video podcast as well. But no, that wraps up today. Michael, thank you so much for sharing everything that everything you've learned about the Wakelet Philippines community and the growth of it. And yeah, it'd be great to chat to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michael. We'll see you soon.
Okay, thank you very much, James and Amy. Can I plug?
Of course.
Go ahead, yeah.
I would like to extend my deepest gratitude and appreciations to the Wakelet Manchester team for having this podcast and celebrate the diversity of our community all over the world. Thank you for the recognitions and all the support you are given to the Filipino educators and students in the Philippines. And of course, I would like to invite everyone to please like, follow, and share us. Share your best ideas and your experiences to our social media accounts. Follow us in Wakelet PH in Twitter, Facebook, and to those Filipino educators who are watching and listening to our podcast, please join us in our exclusive Facebook group at Wakelet Philippines. Amazing. And we also have every first and third Saturday of the month, we have the WhatsApp Philippines. It's about upskilling and pro tips about Wakelet. And every first and third, I'm right. First and third, we have WhatsApp, and second and fourth, we have what we call the Fuse demand. So we have this a sharing of best practice of the Filipino, how they used Wakelet. And this coming first week of December, we will be having our very first Filipino version of our community week. So we're inviting every Filipinos out there who are watching our podcast and listening to our podcast to watch out for our upcoming events, especially the community week on first week of December.
That's so exciting.
So exciting. I'm sure they will as well after hearing this podcast. I'm sure they'll be all over, follow you on social and ready for that community week. But yeah, thank you, Michael, so much. Thank you for all of the people in the Wakelet Philippines community as well, all the Filipino educators who've joined and made the community what it is today. And thank you all for listening as well. And we'll hopefully catch you on the next episode of the Community Corner.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.